Shalom, and welcome back to Bnei Noach Academy, Thoughts on the Torah. Please remember to hit the like button, to subscribe, and most importantly, to share this insight and inspiration with friends and family. When we look at the book of Genesis, and you read chapters 7 and 8, get a sense that the people of that generation were terrible and wicked, despicable, to the extent that God couldn't find any other way, so to speak, but to destroy them, to do away with them, and as we explained in a previous class, to restart. Noah and his family are the only ones spared, because Noah stands out as the verse itself, not once, but more than twice, makes a point to emphasize that he was righteous. He was a special person. He was whole. He was earnest. He was complete. Yet, many, many years later, the prophet Isiah, look into chapter 54, verse 9, when God is speaking, and God says the following, he says, "For this is to me like the waters of Noah." Like the waters of Noah. Were these the waters of Noah? Is Noah to be blamed for it? Why is this associated with him? It happened in the times of Noah, but it didn't happen to him. He was spared. Why is this being associated with his name? Well, Noah wasn't the only one that lived in bad times or in the times of wicked people. We have another great personality. In fact, the next one that's discussed in the Torah following Noah, and that is Abraham. Let's make the contrast. Abraham went out of his way, out of his comfort zone, to try to influence the people, to impress upon them the importance of believing in one God and being kind to each other and being just and living a proper life. Noah, on the other hand, he was righteous, but he didn't really mingle with the people. He didn't go out there. He didn't do outreach, as they call it. In fact, we also find the contrast between Noah and Abraham. You remember when God comes to Abraham and says to him, "I'm going to destroy the people of Sodom, and Gomorrah." Abraham should be overjoyed. These people were the antithesis of Abraham. They had not an ounce of kindness in them. In fact, they were absolutely cruel. And yet, Abraham tries to negotiate. He tries to plead with God. Please, maybe if we find some righteous people, we'll spare them in the merit of the righteous people, on the account of the righteous that are there. But when God couldn't find the righteous, well, that's the only point at which Abraham finally relented and had no more argument. But he did try. He did make the effort to protect even the wicked people. Whereas Noah, he actually did not pray for the people of his generation. Not only did he reach out to them, he didn't even pray for them. In fact, the Midrash tells us that when Noah came out of the ark after being there an entire year, and as I mentioned in a previous class, he saw a new world. It was a deteriorated world. It was not the same world that he had left a year ago. Noah started to cry. He was sad. He mourned this terrible loss. And God called out to him and said, "Now you're crying? You should have cried. You should have prayed before. When I told you there's going to be a flood, when I told you that everyone's going to be destroyed, that's when you should have prayed. Now it's a little too late." So this teaches us we do need to be concerned about our surroundings. We need to be concerned and take an active role in trying to influence the people around us, not to throw up our hands in the air or not to isolate ourselves and say, "Well, I'm good. I'm going in the way of God. I'm going in the way of Hashem. So I will just, keep to myself." That's not the proper way. And that's why Noah is not the father of the nation that received the Torah and disseminated it to the entire world. Abraham is.